There's a lot that goes on with people. There's more complexity to people. So and for me, connecting with my clients, whether those are potential clients or my clients directly, it requires a high level of presence. I cannot be distracted. So I do a lot to make sure I have an undistracted space and I'm fully there with people. This is all that matters to me, even though there's lots going on in my life. So that makes a big All right, so what we're covering today is reclaiming your power in uncertainty. Now, as we all know, there's lots of uncertainty out in the world. And to be honest, life has a lot of uncertainty within it. If it didn't, it would be very boring, I would say. We all have uncertainties in our own personal lives and in our relationships and our work, business, all sorts of things. And I think that partly creates the fun, the discovery, the experimentation, all that stuff. But sometimes uncertainty and chaos can go on the other side of the pendulum. And sometimes that can come in from outside in, which is what's happening, which with all the whole conflict with Iran, Israel, and then uncertainty around the economy that's happening, AI, new technology. We don't know what's happening with that, jobs, and political changes in US and then also in Canada here as well. So lots of things. And actually they ultimately do affect people's lives, even if it doesn't directly affect, because first of all, you will hear everybody talking about it around you and the feelings that go with that. Oh, what happens to the prices for oil? What if we go into World War III? What if that happens? What if this happens? Now, you might, even if you're somebody who's more conscious, you get exposed to it. So subconsciously, you are processing all this, even if you're personally not concerned with it. But most people are concerned about these things. So how do we approach it? And I want to kind of step away from all that and kind of think through it in a little bit of a different way. So my first claim is that your power is in your presence. And I'll kind of go through it. My AI camera is doing all kinds of weird things. But my claim is that your personal power is in your presence. And there are three elements that I want to go through in there. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, and we'll go much deeper on Thursday as well. And those three elements that I want to go into is experience, connection, and focus. So all of those, none of those can be done without presence. And the first one I want to go into is your personal experience in life. And I've put a tagline below it, quality of life. So your quality of life is directly related to how you experience your life. And a lot of times we do our normal things. We grab our coffee. Eric was talking about his coffee or water. We kind of in an automatic mode. We just grab it, but we don't actually experience it. Our mind is kind of running a lot like when you're driving to work or you're driving somewhere. You don't even know how you got there. It's your mind has been programmed at that point to just do it. And then I see your head shaking. Well, what is happening in that moment? Your subconscious is driving everything. You're not actually conscious to the experience. So you're not actually tasting the coffee. You're not tasting the food. You're not connecting with your environment. You're not taking a breath. Now, look at the opposite of that. Think about those moments. Yesterday was really hot here. I think in the East Coast, all over, it's been really hot. And today pretty hot as well. I think it was 100 plus, but we did like a backyard thing. I put on some music. I got these water balloons and we're playing water balloon fights with my kids pretty much for like 3-4 hours. They were having a blast, and even though it was hot, I could feel the air. I could connect with my kids. Like I was fully immersed in that experience. That is and it wasn't going automatically. I wasn't waiting for it to end. I was just there. It didn't matter what was happening outside. It didn't matter what was happening in business. It didn't matter what was happening with something else. Even though there are lots of things that I need to think about, like my businesses, I need to think about the global stuff as well, because it does affect my business. I need to think about all sorts of things that are happening in our family, community. But in that moment, I was fully present to that experience, and our kids felt it too. How do I know that? He's like, this is the best balloon fight ever. And we've done it like a bunch of times. It was somehow they felt it more because I was fully there with them. And it was And that's the experience. I was fully there. I could even I filled up this water with some sparkling water and ice, and I was just feeling, it was hot weather too, so I could taste it too and feel it. Like simple things, like it didn't require a lot of money, it didn't require a lot of resources, it didn't require a lot of planning. You just did it, but the quality of that experience was powerful, and that required my full presence. And actually I had to be there intentionally present with all the things, especially because we don't have a lot of sleep these days. And I wanted to do that because we've been with the new kid, and the two kids have been very patient with us the past couple of weeks with us preparing with everything. But just that intention created a better quality of experience for me and for our kids, and that shows up with everything. So the quality of your life will always be directly related to how intentional you are in each experience, whether that's as little as tasting your food or coffee, or and I'll talk about the connection piece of it. That could be your connections with others, connecting with other people around you, or that could be just even just being present in your work. It's actually the first day I'm back at work after about 8 days as well. I was looking forward to it, and as soon as I sat down here, I'm like, this is exciting, this is fun. And I was actually, and I had my coffee here, I had my water, I was writing. I enjoyed the process of building the model, and kind of thinking about all these topics, and just seeing your beautiful faces connecting with you as well. Like that to me means a lot. So that is the experience piece. Your power will always be connected. If you cannot experience life, then your mind is running it and automatically in the background. Time is going by. Time will go by regardless of what happens. And your life will go by. It's not, you're not going to gain any of these moments back. And every moment will be in this first week that I was with my son. That would be the only time I'll be with him in that time period. After this, he's going to change. But that was an incident, and I'm bringing my life experience into it so you guys can relate to it in some way. And I can tell you, the first child we had, I wasn't as present because I had so much going on. I didn't know how to train my mind to be back. But this week I've been, even with all the lack of sleep, all the things that are happening, I was fully there. And it's just another experience. That to me, that means another level of consciousness that I could actually, this 1 week has been like a lifetime. And that 1 week versus, and I was talking to my wife, I don't remember actually the first week with my first daughter that much. And that's a little bit of a tragedy to me. And much of it is because I was so distracted by so many things. The second piece is which goes to connection, which connects to the quality and progress in your life. And connection is everything when it comes to human life, and not just our life, but our business and work as well. The first piece is the quality, because, and I want to connect, it to different things. So connection could mean connection with yourself, with your soul, with your core. It could be connection with your spiritual life, with God. It could be connection, in most cases for a lot of us, connection with our family members, with our team members, with our business partners, with our collaborators, all kinds of people that we meet. In fact, if you look at all of business, whether you run a business or work in a business, all of business is two things: they're people and systems. Systems don't work without people. And often when I'm working with organizations, they're very focused on systems because systems are easier to deal with people than people. When it comes to people, it's very uncomfortable because people are very chaotic. There's a lot of complexity in it. And so it starts with that connection. I cannot connect with you if I'm thinking about 100 other things in the background. Now think about our normal thought when we're trying to listen to somebody. There are other thoughts going in our head. Sometimes we don't know how to separate that. We're hearing somebody, but we're not fully there. This is why active listening actually takes a lot of energy out of us. Being fully present with people takes a lot of energy. Connecting with people takes energy. By the way, think of it from a sales point of view, from a marketing point of view, especially sales. When you're on a call with somebody, or you're with a partner, or it's a negotiation, or it's a performance check with your team member. All of that requires a high level of presence for you to connect with that person. Otherwise, you could be there, but nothing is happening. Now, I remember I went to a doctor's visit with my dad a few years back. I remember, and he doesn't speak fully English, so there's more complex things. I have to sit with him, and I'm sitting with him. The doctor is in front of his computer, and the 10, 15 minutes that we were there, not once did he look at us. And I'm sure he's an experienced doctor. He just looked at his company. Yes. He heard everything. He didn't make eye contact once. When I left out of there, I looked at my dad. I said, "Get the hell out of this this doctor," because he's just doing his job. He doesn't care, especially for a doctor. And I'm like, switch. I was so furious. The only reason I didn't say anything because I didn't want to make a thing about it. I did ask him a lot of questions, but I just didn't get into it. Doctors don't like me, incidentally. I do ask a lot of questions from them. So, but that in that experience, thinking about it, like, you cannot connect with your patient. Yet you have no idea what's going on with that person. You could hear the words, but you don't know what's going on that person's face. You might understand the biology behind it, but we're understanding more and more that it's not just about the biology these days. There's a lot that goes on with people. There's more complexity to people. So and for me, connecting with my clients, whether those are potential clients or my clients directly, it requires a high level of presence. I cannot be distracted. So I do a lot to make sure I have an undistracted space and I'm fully there with people. This is right now, this is all that matters to me, even though there's lots going on in my life. So that makes a big difference, whether you're connecting with your team members, whether you're leading your team members, whether you're in sales, whether you're even in marketing, doing training videos. If you ever go back to, if you're doing, for example, videos online, as some of you do it, if you look at your videos where you're fully present versus not, just watch the difference. You can tell. Like, you can tell in the way your face looks, you can tell in the way that your eyes look, like subtle differences. We don't know, most people don't know how to pick out these things, but they get the feeling like you don't care. And that's the thing. If you listen to people around you, if they get the feeling that you don't care, you've just lost the person. Whether that's your child, that's your employee, that's your team member, that's your boss. If they get the feeling that you don't care about the work or about the team or about the mission or about something, you've lost them. And the opposite are also true. If they get the feeling that you deeply care, they also get fully engaged. So connection, your ability to connect with people connects with your personal power, and it requires a lot of presence. The last one is the one that I want to kind of hammer on a little bit when it comes to what's going on currently, and that's your focus. That's connected to your progress. Right now, all you have to do is observe people around you. Everybody's distracted. Why? Because everybody's scared. Oh, there's a war going on. There's a potential war going on. And I was talking to one of the family members. He was very passionate about what was happening between Israel, Iran, US involvement, and everything. I'm like, do you remember what was going on with Ukraine a few months ago? Do you remember what was going on with COVID? What was going, the intensity of all that? How much of it do you remember now? And then there was a meme going on right after COVID, and that Putin put an end to COVID because as soon as the whole war started, there nobody remembered COVID. This is all entertainment for most people, and I don't mean that in a way that I don't care about what's happening out in the world. Unless you're directly involved, you're in a leadership level where you affect the military, you affect the policy, you affect something around there, get yourself involved. But if you're inundated, if you're constantly thinking about this stuff, you've lost focus. Guess what's hurting? What's hurting is you're actually not noticing what's going on with the people around you because everybody's scared and you're not showing up with them. You're not asking them questions. Well, what's your involvement in this? Because people just get pulled into all these things without realizing it. And I work with business owners, executives, stay-at-home moms, students, all kinds of people from all walks of life. When you listen to them, everybody's involved in it. I'm like, how much control do you have in any of these areas? None. I mean, like, how is this affecting your focus in your business? A lot. I keep thinking about this. Well, you're not actually showing up to improve the quality of your work. Or how's this affecting your teamwork? Well, I don't know if I'm fully there. I'm kind of distracted in the background. Well, how about in your family life? Well, people are watching news constantly and they need to be with their family. I mean, ultimately, we live in a world where people think they need to care about everything at all times, constantly. Our human brain is not equipped for that. The only reason you're exposed to it is because of social media, because of mass media, because of so much exposure on your fingertips. A few years ago, you wouldn't even know about this until it went to like completely full front. And to be honest, in a few months, nobody will even think about this stuff unless it goes out of control. But whether it goes out of control or not, nobody really knows. Most of us don't really have control over any of this stuff. The places we do have control over is to take care of our family, get them to be okay, ask them questions, make sure we're dealing with their fears, make sure they're okay in their environment, their concerns and fears are addressed. That's what leaders do. And of course, run your business, run your work, run your team, because ultimately those are the things that you need to take care of. If you're distracted in those areas, then everything else is gone anyway. So your focus is directly connected to your presence. If you're not present, and by the way, in all these three areas, you can be partially focused, you can be partially connected with people, you can be partially in your experience of life. But what I'm talking about is another level of experience, a full experience of life, a full level of focus, an extraordinary level of performance. Those require another level of intention. And this is why it's not for everybody else's training, because most people will be distracted. But if you're a leader showing up with your team in your business and in your home, then it will fall to you to create a better environment, to maybe keep some of the noise out, maybe keep some of the fear out, maybe spend more time with people to see what their concerns are, not just let them experience the world through the eyes of all kinds of people who are trying to grab their attention for the sake of clicks and for the sake of viewership. And ultimately, when you're waking up every day in your morning, ask yourself, what is the quality of my life? How connected do I feel in my life? How engaged am I in my life? How am I showing up for those around me? What are the areas I do have control over that I'm focusing on or not? Those are the things that make or break our life. Everything else that is not in our control has nothing to do with us. So what does that mean? That means protecting our mind, being very careful what information comes here, taking care of our health, taking care of the people around us, and focusing on things that, yes, protect yourself, your family, and everything, but also focus on progress, creating movement forward, whether that's in your team, in your business, and other areas. So I wanted to, and this is what we're going to continue forward, and we're actually going to do a couple of exercises around presence, see how we can create that more. But the next few months are going to be turbulent for a lot of people because of all the things that are going on. And interestingly, nobody has control over any of this stuff, but most of their day is going to go to about thinking about this kind of stuff and feeling the emotions around it. And if it's not them, it will be other people bringing things to them. So at least in your environment, this becomes your role as a leader to separate things that are distractions and entertainment from real things. Yes, if somebody wants to be entertained by these things, which is what, for the most part, most people are doing because they can't do anything about it. Outside of that, what are they actually doing? What is the change they're creating in themselves and their life? What is the progress that they're creating in their life, within your team, within your home, within the community that you live in? I really believe that it's every leader's job to do that, but it starts with us. If we don't have our focus, we don't have our sense of connection, we don't have our experience, our mind has been hijacked, then we cannot support those around us. I'll leave it at that. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you click on this video or this video. It will serve you to move your growth journey forward. I'll see you in the next video.